Hey, how's it going everybody? I'm your host Adobo and we're coming to a close on the year 2023. It is well and truly finishing, and with that comes all the things that we've played, watched, read, so on and so forth. If you couldn't tell by the title and thumbnail, then in today's video I'm going to be focusing on the games portion of my year, as I myself have played quite a few games and experienced some fantastic mind-blowing ones that have certainly left an everlasting impact on me and my gaming journey for this year. Out of the 17 games that I played this year, narrowing them down to my top 5 wasn't an easy feat to pull out of the bag, so there were a few great ones that sadly didn't make the cut, which I'll go over in this section. The first honourable mention goes out to Ghost of Tsushima, released in 2020 by Sucker Punch Studios. This game serves as an excellent tale and a poetic love letter to samurai culture and the beauty of feudal Japan. It was free on PlayStation's PS Plus Extra Catalogue, and I played this right at the beginning of the year, so forgive me if my memory of it is a little hazy. It did take me quite a while to get hooked into this experience, but I think that's a similar trait that most open world games share for me, as sometimes they just get a bit too overwhelming at the start with all the little pop-ups and things that you can do right off the bat. But in regards to the visual splendour of Ghost of Tsushima, it is absolutely breathtaking. The open world design is a seamless blend of lush landscapes, serene bamboo forests, and vibrant fields swaying with the wind. Every frame feels like a carefully crafted painting, and the dynamic weather and lighting elevate the immersive experience for sure. The combat system really did feel satisfying, mesmerizing, and vivid all at once. The precision required to master Jin Sakai's katana, coupled with the fluidity of the stances, creates a combat ballet that's as challenging as it is elegant. The duels were reminiscent of classic samurai films. They were intense and visually stunning, capturing the essence of the samurai code. It was very fair when it came to the actual gameplay standpoint. If I died or messed up, I was very much at fault and needed to pay more attention to my surroundings. The amount of variations between movesets was a breath of fresh air, and they came at the right point when introduced. If there was one word I could use to describe the combat and just the game in general, it would definitely be graceful or elegant. This is all without mentioning the narrative itself, which is quite captivating, with a lot of deep and intimate moments spread throughout. Jin Sakai's character arc felt fulfilling to witness play out through the game. Seeing the actions he took to change the tide of his surroundings was extremely touching and heartfelt. The side stories and side content in general were also great and helped developing the world and side characters, making them stand out as a whole. Overall though, it was an incredible game that offered life to an immersive journey and a visual stunning world, whilst offering a narrative that strikes an emotional chord with the player. I'd have personally given this, along with probably every other nominee, the edge over The Last of Us 2 in the 2020 Game Awards, but it is what it is. My second honourable mention goes out to the game that coincidentally won Game of the Year in 2021, that being It Takes Two, developed by Hazelight Studios. It's a fully fleshed out cooperative experience that can be played with another person, be it a friend, a sibling, or a significant other. I played this game in April with my brother, and it was pure fun in about every aspect. The game stands out with its unique premise and storytelling. The narrative follows two parents, Cody and May, whose souls get sucked into two dolls, who have to embark on a journey to mend their broken relationship. The need for both brains to be active during the playthrough emphasised teamwork heavily, as you need to work together in order to overcome the challenges and obstacles presented throughout each level, like making pathways to each other, timing actions in sync with one another, so on and so forth. The level design itself was nothing short of brilliant. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the amount of variety and creativity that the game had to offer on each stage, whether it be the mundane yet enchanting setting of the home backyard to the fantastical imaginative realms like a clockwork world or a bustling beehive. Each environment is not only visually captivating but also serves as a backdrop for intensive challenges and minigames that keep the player on their toes. The minigames, by the way, were awesome, and they added that competitive edge between me and my brother in real time as we tried to compete and see who could end up on the top with the most minigames won by the end of the game. Spoilers, it was me. I won about 2/3 and he got about the last third. But yeah, aside from that, the game was actually visually and auditorily delightful. The charming, whimsical environments are brought to life with the vibrant colours and cute art style that matched the tone of the game, creating a world that felt both magical and grounded. The soundtrack was also great and complemented the emotional beats of the story, adding to the overall experience. The story and narrative weren't the best, I feel like the main duo of Cody and May got honestly annoying at times, but ultimately it was serviceable and didn't really detract from my overall time with the game, as playing it with another person adds like a whole new dimension to the experience. It's also great how only one person needed to buy the game. I feel like that was a generous touch. I would 1000% recommend this to anyone who has a friend or partner or whoever that they can play the game with, as the diversity in minigames and just gameplay in general on offer is well worth the money. Also on PS Plus Extra it is free, even though I did buy it before it went up free, so kinda sucked. But yeah, that's another reason to give it a shot if you have PlayStation. My third and final honourable mention. I know, get to the damn top 5 already. You can just treat this as a top 8. Well, my third and final honourable mention goes out to one of the free monthly games in August for PlayStation, and that being Death's Door. With every other game and its placement on the list, I had a general idea with the game and that it'd be pretty great, due to it either having a highly devoted community, being regarded as many as amazing and phenomenal piece of art, or it just being part of a series of games that delivered time and time again. With Death's Door, however, I barely had any idea what type of game I was getting myself into. The reasons I chose to play it was because A, it was free, and B, is unique and charming art style on an initial glance, as well as the calm, serene music that played. In short, the game looked captivating enough to drag me in, which is all a game needs sometimes. This might be a weird comparison as I haven't played this game yet, but it kind of looked like Hollow Knight, which is a game that I've heard endless praise towards. Let me tell you about the actual game, however. It's an indie game developed by Acid Nerve, the story focusing on a crow controlled by the player that's been tasked with reaping souls. As the narrative unfolds, the game skillfully explores themes of morality, purpose, and the inevitability of death. The storytelling is nuanced, leaving players immersed in a richly developed world with an overarching sense of mystery. The gameplay mechanics are finely tuned in my eyes, not brain dead easy, but not rage-inducingly difficult. It offers a nice balance in between that certainly tests the skills, awareness and reaction times of the player. The different types of short and range-based combat offer for a great assortment of ways to tackle the encounters that the game will throw at you. The art direction and world design further contribute to the game's fascinating hold over me. The atmospheric landscapes, ranging from eerie dungeons to desolate sceneries, are brought to life with the captivating art style that matches the deathly silence with the beautiful. Each environment is meticulously crafted, creating a visually stunning backdrop that enhances the overall gaming experience. I can't not mention the soundtrack, as it's probably my favourite aspect of the damn game. Death's Door doesn't have any spoken dialogue. They talk, but it's not voiced, so there's usually just sound effects and animations to complement the tone of the scene and conversation going on at the time. The music plays a crucial role in establishing the world's atmosphere and greatly adapts to the shifting tones of the narrative, enhancing the emotional impact of key moments. All in all though, this was probably one of the most fun and surprising gems of the year, even beyond gaming for me, and it's another game that I highly recommend you play if you haven't already. So the top 5, it's not really ordered, but number 1's definitely number 1 for a reason, but 5 to 2, I wouldn't say they're really ordered, so take the order in which I go through the games with a pinch of salt. And finally, we are getting into the actual top 5. No more of this honourable mention nonsense. Number 5 goes to a game that I've been meaning to play for a while. And by a while, I mean like a few years. A game that's hailed as one of the best of all time. A game that needs no introduction, The Witcher 3. I delved into this incredible journey in the month of July, and boy did this game do a fantastic job in pretty much every department. From the sprawling open world, to its rich narrative and complex characters, to its carefully calibrated and exquisite gameplay. Each aspect of this experience was brilliant. For one, it has a heavy emphasis on decision making, as your choices most likely always have an impact on outcomes throughout the game, whether they be sudden or long lasting. Different endings to the game story can occur based on choices you made throughout the previous portions of the narrative. It's not one click at the end that decides the outcome. You really need to think about the consequences and how your words will truly affect the actions of whomever you're speaking to. The combat felt fair and intuitive, requiring strategic thinking and the mastery of Geralt's arsenal. Geralt, can we speak about Geralt? This man is one of the GOATs of video game history. He's an amazingly developed character throughout the entire series. I love this guy to death, I swear down. Side tangent, let me get back to the combat. The fluidity of the combat system coupled with the variety of magical signs and potions, elevate the experience in a satisfying and dynamic manner. Not to even mention the 2 flipping absolutely masterful DLC expansions that the game had. Seriously, Hearts of Stone and especially Blood and Wine were absolute cinema. They took what made the base game great and multiplied upon it tenfold. The fact that the second DLC was chosen as Best RPG in 2016 says enough, I think. Fucking hell. Honestly, there's so much content to the game. I had put in a total of 92 hours into the game by the end, yet I feel like I left about a third of the entire experience untouched. Man, everything about this game was made to near perfection. I was absolutely gutted when my time with it came to an end. We have an interesting pick coming in at number 4. I'm not sure how folk will think of me putting a visual novel on here, but screw it, it's my list. In 4th place, we have the visual novel Fate Stay Night and its sequel Fate Hollow Ataraxia. If you don't know how a visual novel works, then let me just say it's essentially like reading a book, but with more artistic detail, and sometimes there's voice acting, which is nice. I haven't played many visual novels so far, like seriously I've probably played about 5 within the medium, but it's been amazing from the little I've experienced. Few titles have reached the level of acclaim and reverence as the dynamic duo of Fate Stay Night and its sequel Fate Hollow Ataraxia. Developed by Type Moon, I played these visual novels in the months of August and September as they took a while to complete. If I had to give a rough estimate of the amount of time, I'd probably say about 120 hours in total, but man was that time well spent. The story is about the 5th Holy Grail War. What's that, you may ask? It's a battle royale where mages summon heroic spirits from a previous point in time and they battle it out for the coveted Holy Grail, which is the winner's prize. The narrative unfolds through 3 distinct routes: Fate, Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Field, each offering a unique perspective on the overarching story. The protagonist, Shiro Emiya, finds himself entangled in a grand conflict that delves into the themes of heroism, sacrifice, and the consequences of one's choices. The story is superb and managed to engross me over and over and over again each time we went through it. The way it shone light on different perspectives and different characters, as it was the frontrunner in unraveling the many facets of the overarching narrative. Furthermore, the story's pacing is masterfully executed. It effortlessly balances intense action sequences with quieter moments of introspection and character development. The dialogue is sharp and thought-provoking, the characters sharing intriguing dynamics with one another. Characters? Did I say characters? Well, in Fate Stay Night, there's an extensive cast filled to the brim with badass, lovable heroes, as well as interesting and despicable villains. The designs of each of these characters were also a highlight of the series, as every one of them had an amazing look to them that complements their personality and the aura around them. The same can be said about the characters in a sequel, Fate Hollow Ataraxia, as whilst the majority of characters are the same ones from Fate Stay Night, they naturally introduce new players who shape the story and narrative into different directions. The protagonist in the sequel becomes trapped in a repeating cycle, exploring different timelines and uncovering the mysterious town of Fuyuki. The narrative structure with this Groundhog Day-esque time loop adds a layer of complexity and intrigue, challenging players to piece together the fragmented narrative. Despite that, however, a majority of this game is dedicated to slice of life events, activities that are part of the characters and larger cities' day-to-day lives. I loved this sequel even more than Fate Stay Night itself, and I also think that they really nailed how to do slice of life events when it comes to a more serious story. I do wonder how they'd go about adapting the experience if it ever became an anime, as the structure of the game focuses on unraveling mysterious plot points in the background whilst journeying through the day-to-day lives of the character in sort of a trial-and-esque type way, so I don't know how that would work. This was another title that had me feeling empty upon completion, but lucky enough I had an equally amazing experience awaiting me just a few days later. I started the Yakuza franchise in 2022, and in that year I completed 0, Kiwami 1 and Kiwami 2, and I loved them all. I was hugely invested in Kazuma Kiryu's life, and I was here for the long run for sure. Moving on to the year 2023, I played another 3, that being Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4 and Yakuza 5. Yakuza 3 I was more mixed on, definitely didn't view it as highly as the previous 3 before it, and similar things can be said about Yakuza 4, though I did love a lot of things about that game. However, with our bronze medalist Yakuza 5, it was definitely a return to form. The game was special, man. Truly special, and is now probably tied with Yakuza 0 as my favourite in the franchise, but I wouldn't be surprised if that gets topped next year. At the heart of Yakuza 5 is its intricate narrative, interweaving the destinies of multiple protagonists in a web of crime, loyalty and redemption. The game unfolds across 5 different cities in Japan, providing players with a vast and immersive landscape to explore. Similar in structure to Yakuza 4, each protagonist, including the main man himself, Kiryu, is given their own compelling storyline, offering distinct plot lines that culminate in one big intertwining storyline. This multifaceted approach not only deepens the storytelling but also enhances the overall sense of immersion for me. 100%, I loved it in Yakuza 4 and I love it in Yakuza 5. It does have its drawbacks however, with some poorly paced segments, but the payoff in this game is incredible. The final act cemented it as legendary in my eyes, as it delivered an emotional roller coaster that was both unexpected and wonderful at the same time. The thematic approach to the game was the best part, everything being tied with dreams, whether it being one's own dreams or helping out with someone else's. It was presented in a way that was highly captivating and it resonated with me incredibly well. Gameplay wise, I also regard it very highly in the series. It just felt so fluid and tactical when fighting everybody, and the boss fights were also amazing as usual, especially the final fight, which even though the surprise last villain didn't do too much for me, the actual fight and set piece of it all was the icing on this masterpiece of a cake. The cast. Everybody was just fantastic in this game, man. Akiyama, Saejima, the newly introduced Shinada, even Haruka was great, and especially the main man, the big boy, Kazuma Kiryu. He was the GOAT, I swear, man. By the time I finish up, or shall I say catch up, to the entire Yakuza series, I have no doubts that he'll settle in comfortably as one of my favourite characters of all time. For the penultimate game I'll be talking about, we have another Game of the Year winner. Created by the glorious masters at From Software, we have Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I'm at heart a huge FromSoft fan, so I feel at home now that we're at this game. I played this in February, and despite it being still widely considered a part of the Souls series, Sekiro does stray a lot from the roots of its predecessors, getting rid of the stamina bar as a whole and focusing a lot more on stealth-based gameplay, though there are common traits that it still shares with the Souls series, like its healing system and the bonfires, or should I say idols in this case, that reset the status of the world whilst also bringing back the enemies to life. What I'm saying is there's a lot to consider when talking about if Sekiro is a Souls game or not. I include it whilst talking about the series just so I have more to speak upon. It's a good game, so of course I'll want to talk more about it. Anywho, who cares about all that? Sekiro is a masterpiece in so many ways. The combat system for one is quite literally the closest thing to perfection that From has ever crafted. The dance between precision and aggression is perfect here and creates for some absolutely exhilarating experiences. The shinobi prosthetics also add for some great variety in one's playstyle, as you can mix them into combos and generate some sick looking set pieces. Just take a look at Ongbal's channel, he's the master of that type of stuff. Genuinely, it looks so mesmerizing when he does it. Sekiro's boss battles emerge as a pinnacle of gaming excellence, setting an unprecedented standard for intensity, strategy and emotional impact. Each encounter is a meticulously crafted dance of death, demanding players to master the game's precision-based combat, from the exhilarating duel against Genichiro Ashina, where sword clashes echo with the palpable tension, to the mesmerizing fight with the true corrupted monk, blending supernatural elements with skillful swordplay. Every boss battle is a testament to From Software's mastery of the medium. I won't even mention the final boss in this video, as he's so good and I have so much to say about him, so I'll save that for the future. There's also the resurrection mechanic, which is central to the game's identity, serving as both gameplay innovation and a narrative device. This ability adds a layer of forgiveness to the challenging combat, allowing for players to learn from their mistakes without the burden of a game over screen. Narratively, Wolf's ability to return from death aligns with the themes of perseverance and the cyclical nature of his quest. Speaking of narrative, it was awesome to see a full-on story from Miyazaki in which we don't have to take a degree in lore to figure out what's going on, though there is still a bit of that on the side. But it's mostly given to us, which is a nice change even for one game. They even managed to keep their usual brilliance when it comes to world and level design, as they implemented fascinating areas like Ashina Castle and Fountainhead Palace. I loved every second of it, and you'll be damned if this is the only video in which I'll be speaking about this godsend. My favourite game of the year goes to Umineko When They Cry, another visual novel in fact. I hope there aren't too many pitchforks out right now, but hear me out. This was one of the most well received pieces of media I've ever come across. All over my timeline, I'd see users raving about the brilliance of Umineko, and I wanted a piece of it. So in April, I decided to start my own journey with it. Once I tasted a slice, I was given no choice but to devour the beast in its whole. I know I throw around the term masterpiece and perfect a lot, but in reality, there aren't very many things that I've wholeheartedly given a 10 very easily. This, however, is an easy 10, and there's no doubt about it. This is a straight masterpiece. It's perfect. I love it to death. Ooh, calm down, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Umineko, developed by 07th expansion, 07th expansion, however you say the name, and created by Ryukishi07, also not sure how the numbers are pronounced there, stands as an unparalleled masterpiece in the entire fictional medium, offering a profound and multi-layered narrative and character-based experience. It was released as a sort of spiritual successor to Higurashi When They Cry, which I haven't played yet, but I need to sometime. Umineko delves into the realms of mystery, psychological horror, and an intricate meta-narrative, captivating players with its compelling characters, unfathomable plot, and emotionally resonant storytelling. The brilliance of Umineko really does lie in its intricate and multifaceted mystery narrative, which unfolds on the enigmatic Rokkenjima Island during a family conference. The story revolves around the wealthy Ushiromiya family and their dark secrets, with the central focus being around the annual struggle for control over the family fortune. However, as the tale progresses, it becomes evident that there's more at play than mere family discord. One of the defining features of Umineko in my eyes is its commitment to the mystery genre. The story is structured around a series of closed room killings, and us the player, through the perspective of the protagonist, Ushiromiya Battler, are challenged to unravel the truth behind the gruesome events. It is presented with thorough detail, requiring players to analyse alibis, bars, clues, and witness testimonies to deduce the sequence of events. Umineko also introduces to us the concept of witches and magic, blurring the lines between reality and fantasy. Beatrice, one of the witches, becomes a central figure in the narrative, presenting an additional layer of intrigue and challenging players to question the nature of truth and illusion. She is absolutely up there for one of the greatest characters of all time, I swear, but I really do not want to say too much about her, as it's tricky to talk about when considering heavy spoilers. If any of you have played through it, I'm sure you understand. The cast in Umineko is masterful, each contributing significantly to the intricate tapestry of the story. The character development is profound, with each arc revealing new facets of their personalities, sometimes flipping a character on their head in terms of how the player has perceived them up until that point. I fucking love the cast so much. Visual novels are often praised for their ability to convey emotion through narrative and artwork, and Umineko excels in that regard. Some of the CGs in this game are amazing and lie rent-free in my head. They get the sofa, bed, gaming setup and all. That's how deep in my head they are. It'd be sacrilegious though if I forgot to talk about the music, because yet again is it another excellent piece of the game's puzzle. Like, I seriously hope that some of the people who watch this video have read through the visual novel to back me up on this claim I'm about to make. Umineko has one of, if not the greatest soundtrack in any piece of fiction. All in all though, I have no doubt in my mind that this was the highlight of my 2023. A perfect experience from start to end. And there you have it folks, we've navigated through a year packed with gaming adventures, from the honourable mentions to the top 5 itself that has shaped a large part of my 2023 as a whole. Ghost of Tsushima's breathtaking open world design, It Takes Two's cooperative brilliance, Death's Door's surprising charm, The Witcher 3's immersive narrative, the Fate series' visual novel excellence, Yakuza 5's amazing thematic storytelling, Sekiro's mastery of combat, and of course, the crown jewel, Umineko, a true masterpiece in every sense. Before we wrap up, let me know in the comments what your standout games of the year were. What gems did you discover and what titles are you looking forward to in the coming year? I know I'm looking forward to a few myself, but I still need to play the things that released this year. Like seriously, if you're wondering where some games like Spider-Man 2, Final Fantasy 16 or Baldur's Gate were, it's literally because I haven't played anything from this year. I've been stuck, my backlog's too big from games of the past years. It's also just poor on my part, to be honest. As a whole, 2023 has been it's been a whatever year, but now that I've started this channel, I have a newfound goal and want to grow and make it as big and great as I possibly can. So those of you who want to join me on my journey, come along I say. Hit the like button if you enjoyed my video, subscribe as I'll be posting more content regularly throughout the next year. Have a good day folks, and peace!